A child dies while local agencies are supposed to be watching. According to the numbers from the Commonwealth, it happens more than it should. Innocent children taken far too soon. Their families want justice, but most of all, they just want answers. In a story you will only see on ABC 13, I looked at whether staffing issues are putting some of the area's most vulnerable at risk. This should be the safest place for a child. But for one little girl from Lynchburg, what went on behind closed doors may never be fully known. Her name was Amarah Lane, born October 22, 2016. Not even 2 years later, she would be dead. This is where Amarah Lane is at rest now, Potter's Field at the Old City Cemetery. They call this the Kids' Corner. Family members say it is a tragic end to what can only be described as a complicated life.
Just thinking that child was in that house with this monster and she just hitting her and probably yelling at her, and the baby had no escape.
The monster, according to family members, Amarah's own mother, Fantasia Lane. She's charged with killing her. ABC 13 obtained this paperwork from the state dated last September. It details how shortly after Amarah was born, Child Protective Services got involved with her family and requested an emergency removal from her home due to abuse and neglect. Amarah had been with her mother. The girl wound up at Lynchburg General with burns on her face and swollen hands. A family friend wonders if the Department of Social Services did enough to keep Amarah safe.
Somebody just didn't do their job. Somebody wasn't on top of this. I feel as though this baby had been just like thrown away. They just failed this baby.
Social Services worked extensively with the Lane family, but they're not legally able to talk about a client. What we did learn is there is a statewide shortage of social workers, and those who loved Amarah can't stop thinking the agency missed something.
Does it meet the definitions of abuse and neglect?
Tamara Rosser, the director of Lynchburg Human Services, agreed to speak with me following a recent board meeting. Do you have enough people to adequately investigate these calls?
We're always in a situation where we could use more people to investigate these calls. I don't think that the agency can be responsible for the actions of individuals.
In Lynchburg, there are 5 investigators working an average of 40 cases. Over the last 5 years in Virginia, the agency has documented 219 children that have died as the result of abuse or neglect. I traveled to Richmond and met with the director of Virginia's Division of Family Services about staffing issues and the impact on care.
Now, we are never fully staffed.
You are never fully staffed. Carl Ayers says a department workload study done a decade ago shows the agency was short several hundred workers. He says a shortage continues. If you're understaffed, one would say that that is putting potentially children at risk because someone can't get to them maybe fast enough or can't assess a family quickly enough.
The more manageable caseloads that we have and the more well-trained and well-qualified staff, well-tenured staff that we have better outcomes.
We will likely never know if a staffing shortage contributed to Amarah's death, but what we do know is she died at UVA Medical Center in Charlottesville 3 months ago. Amarah was only 22 months old, and the answers those who loved her are still searching for are hard to find. Amarah's mother, Fantasia Lane, is charged with child abuse and neglect, child endangerment, and murder. She's scheduled to stand trial in March. A family friend tells me that Amarah's family in Roanoke plans to sue social services for what happened to that little girl. Now, if you suspect a child is being abused or neglected, call the state hotline number at 800-552-7096.